Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight we're going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Gemini. If Gemini is your solar, lunar, ascendant/rising sign, then this is a message for you. Okay, let's get started. Knock, 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 and let's see what do these tea leaves have to say tonight. All right, and our card for this evening is the Two of Swords, which has everything to do with peace. Finding that place of ease, end of conflict, decisions made. And so we are officially into the new season. If that is the spring, or spring in the southern hemisphere, or autumn in the northern. Okay, so I feel like we should start right up here. We have, it looks like the goddess, a goddess. We also have this kind of half moon. So this is a lunar goddess. Think Celine, Diana, so many more. These are the two that always come to mind for me. But I see the goddess here and riding upon the beast across the moon. A beast, not the beast, not the devil or Lucifer or whatever. But this is more of like kind of a horse, right? Maybe some kind of composite being from Greek mythology or the medieval times. But I think that, with a lunar goddess, definitely has to do with changing of seasons, kind of and you think the different phases of the moon, but also emotional tides, okay, the ebb and flow of how we're feeling, what we're thinking about, what's important to us. Creativity, of course. Anything lunar has so much to do with that subconscious mind, those, beautiful abstract concepts or abstracts that are formed into concepts, where our collective unconscious kind of becomes woven together. A lot of this exists, it exists all around us, but we have, I believe, deeper access to it in our dream world, meditation, ritual, active imagination, which is a favorite of mine, and I talk about on here quite often. And so this leads me to believe that you're really, really following your feelings. Your intuition is off the charts, okay? I think that you really know how you feel about things right now. There's no question. There's no, maybe, maybe not. And when you feel it, you're listening to yourself. You're not second guessing. You're not, going against yourself. You are, trusting in that initial instinct. And listen, I think, for the most part, this will usually lead us to where we should and need to go. Of course, there are exceptions, but I also think we know when we're wrong, or we know when our conditioning, life experience, understanding, knowledge is limited, okay? And that is, you know, part of the larger context. Okay, let's see. Now we have a lot of things that look like letters, and I keep kind of... Now this one's interesting because it looks to me like S-J-I. That's very particular, like a... kind of like a... maybe the initials, somebody's initials. We also have the A, and we have another A that, and then a J, so it looks like A-J. Now, none of these don't have to pertain to you in any way, but they come through. It might speak to one or two people, sometimes more, but these might be S-J-I, A, and A, or A, and a J, maybe A-J, I don't know. Maybe somebody can move those letters around and tell me if it spells something. I can't do that. I have to use pen and paper for that. I'm not good at... I'm like that. There's a game like that on the phone where you move the tiles around, and not words with friends, but another one where you have to find word. Oh no, maybe that is the one. I don't know, but there's another one where you have to find words within the little, excuse me, it's like a crossword puzzle type of, or a word search type of deal. I'm pretty good at that. I used to boggle a lot too. That was like, I was obsessed with that when I was a teenager for some reason. Me and my friends used to have like tournaments playing it. Okay, so we also have a person riding, it looks like a deer or a goat, but I think it looks like a deer. And this definitely feels like a forest goddess, a forest spirit. This seems about right, especially in the northern hemisphere, going into these darker days. During the summer, I feel close to, you know, like the Green Man, Pan, these kinds of deities. But during the fall, when it gets darker and things start to fall away, there's definitely more of kind of the wild man for sure. But if you've ever seen any frescoes of like John the Baptist, that, like, for some reason the fall really reminds me of that kind of almost like a spiritual separatist in some ways, somebody, a hermit, just this energy of, you know, hunkering down in your little hut, you know, kind of getting ready to incubate for the winter, really allowing yourself the room away from others to collect yourself, focus on the things, the resources you need to put together. I'm looking at this. I have this distinct feeling. This is so... I keep thinking this from the beginning of the reading. It almost seems like... And this has to do, too, with the Two of Swords, the sense of peace. But I feel like you are finding friendship within a person who you kind of used to be at odds with. I almost think that this is somebody that you perceive to be like a competitor. Somebody that maybe is in your same field, same niche, whatever it is. you know, you're realizing, okay, this might be somebody who actually can understand where I'm coming from, understands my passion. We can meet and you can see face to face. Okay. And I can kind of understand this. Well, I have said before that, you know, I was a waitress for a lot of years. And if you've ever worked in restaurant life, then you know I was never at high levels of waiting, but, you know, like medium range, some nicer restaurants, a lot of diners and that kind of thing too. But really something that's very common among all of these places is that, you know, we all were competitive. We all had, you know, to kind of create our own regular customers, relationships with people, you know, and also just do a good job so you would get good shifts, good sections, you know, whatever. So there was constantly this perception of vying for these, you know, select spots. And as I got further into, I wouldn't call it career, but the years of waiting, I really realized, you know, well, you know, there's still the competition, I guess, to some degree. But I realized that the best friends I was going to make were the people that I was kind of out in the trenches with. And I really did meet some amazing people who I perceived to kind of be competitors. And now it has really informed the way that I look at life now. And especially, like, I mean, you know, what we do on here, these divination readings, it's a niche, you know, among content or whatever. And I really, the people I love the most within our little, you know, sub niche or whatever are the ones that really like support one another. I love watching, supporting, commenting, liking smaller channels that are, you know, small like me. And, you know, because ultimately we raise the consciousness by lifting each other up, you know. And so I think this is, you know, the other place I look at this with him being a mom, a parent. Okay, that's a real competitive, really competitive place to be. So, you know, I think just really trying to be understanding that we're all just humans. We're all just doing our best, you know, and so I feel like, and I know I'm sharing a lot about myself again. I know some of you don't like it, but guess what? If you don't like it, go find another reader. Sorry, not sorry. You know, I'm not, and this is my little rant for a second here. I'm not changing the way that I read. I do at least 5 readings a day, 7 days a week, at minimum. So, I'm going to read the way that I read. And, you know, if you like it, great. I love you being here. I want us to be like a family, feel like friends, a community. You know, if the reading doesn't resonate with you, I'm sorry. I hope you'll check out some other ones. But for the people on here who, you know, get really angry because I'm not telling you you're going to win the lottery, you know, or some 20-year-old model is going to be your soulmate or whatever. It's the wrong channel, man. I'm sorry. It's just not me. So we're here to build. We're here to heal. We're here to talk about some things. you know, in the way that my mind works, which, by the way, I'm neurodivergent, maybe is a little bit different communicating style than most. But I'm just going to do what I do. And, you know, yeah, the other part about it is like, yeah, I really try to be a loving, caring, open person. And I am, but I'm also not the one, right? I'm just not the one. Don't mix up my kindness for anything else. So, or being, you know, weak, because none of us are weak here. We're all looking to heal. We're all looking to help each other. And yeah, so that's my 2 cents about that. I just get really, I don't know, you know, it's heartbreaking to see how people like to drag each other. And you see it on all kinds of channels, and maybe some other content creators are, you know, they have more, they'll just let it roll off their back or whatever. But I feel like I'm not really the type of person to be talked to some type of way. And, you know, I'm not trying to come for anybody, but it's like, you know, we're all doing our best. You don't need to be mean. There's no reason for that. You know, I understand you're frustrated. You're looking for some help, probably. Somebody to tell you some good news. And I wish I, you know, could just do it simply like that. But that's not how I do this. So, yeah. Anyways, back to the I feel like you have found somebody who really you just, I don't know. Listen, we've all had those people in our lives where we felt like, ugh, don't like this person. You know, whatever. Then we start to realize maybe they're like kind of similar to us. Maybe they have similar interests. Maybe we perceive them to, yeah, be competition, but they also maybe are talented in something that we also are doing. So it feels like I'm not going to align myself with that person because it might make me look bad, right? But I feel like you have gotten over that. You are seeing that this person is on the level. This might be a good friend for you, you know, or at least somebody that, you know, is a helpful contemporary. Somebody who can help you find new ways of doing things, you know, have different ideas. Maybe they have a deeper understanding of tools that you don't. You know, there's all type of things that could come of befriending somebody who is in the same field as you, in the same creative niche as you, whatever it is. You know, and if it really, if they give you red flags, then get out of there. You know, it's not forever. Just, you know, here we go. So we also have this little flag, okay, and then next to it we have the scythe. I think I always mix them up. I know you all have been so sweet and have explained to me the difference between the sickle and the scythe. I don't remember which one's the long one or the little round one. I forget. I just do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I feel like the flag definitely is kind of that white flag, coming to a place of truth, peace, and then I see the harvest, right? It makes sense. We're in that season, unless you're in the South. And then you're going into planting your, you know, sowing your seeds for this next cycle of seasons. Their growing season. And that's exciting too. I, however, am burnt out on gardening and everything. I feel sad that I'm cutting back the garden. But I'm also, it seems like we've been gardening a lot, like it feels like 10 years this summer. And I'm kind of done. Although, let me tell you something. This is another little kind of side thing. But most auspicious sign today, I was taking my daughter for a walk. And we went down a couple blocks and we turned to the left and we started going down the street. Next thing I know, there were 3 robins. And let me tell you, they migrated out of here about a month and a half ago. Maybe a month ago. I don't know. I'm not good with time. Seems like it could have been 2 weeks ago or 3 months ago. No, it was about a month ago at least. And I was so sad. I hadn't seen them. We had a big storm. They all disappeared. And they had migrated. Okay, so they're back. And I almost cried. They were following us on the ground. Then they got up in the trees and they would move one tree at a time before or in front of us as we were walking. So they followed us down the whole street. And I almost cried. I was so excited. We have one. I don't know if it's one or a couple of them, but they hang out in the backyard here and they love to come and show us the worms that they catch. And we call, the ones that hang out at our property, Worm Boy, because they're always sitting around with a little worm, and they like to come around when I'm watering because I guess, obviously the ground gets kind of mushy with the water, and I think they get into the flower beds and into the garden and they grab those worms up. But I knew, I was like, I'm gonna go in and do my readings. I'm gonna let everybody know I had this beautiful encounter, and I think it really shows that it's bringing in a sense of spirit into all of our lives right now. I really think that through this piece, through kind of surrendering yourself to, if not a friendship, maybe just being an acquaintance, letting go of those feelings towards this person. And, I think that will bring in such abundance for you. It makes room, at least, right, for you to have more emotional reserves to put into other things that you're doing. But I think that, having a mutual bond with somebody, at least friendliness, there's just something about having a kindness towards you from somebody who is a peer. They don't have to be your best friend, but this is why we have like people at work that are work friends or work family or whatever. These are people who understand what your very unique situation. And, that's a good thing to have. Okay, so we do have a bird. Let's see, we have, it looks like a person right here. And then we have a bird right here. So again, with the messaging, it seems like messaging from spirit. We have a person way out on the rim here, just kind of in this, higher plane on the edge. And I think that you really are in a creative state, or at least a state of wanting to explore. Okay, so I do see you going into those dream places, maybe meditating, maybe having some visions. Okay, and I think that messaging from that bird energy, is definitely spirit talking to you. Okay, so listen to yourself, because that's often where spirit comes through. Okay. Now, these ones are cool. They are the divine doors. Okay, so we're just gonna I just kind of go and stop where I think it makes sense. Okay, so we have this door at a temple, a statue of one of the Buddhas, and it says, Offerings. Abundance lies in the heart that allows. Share more than expected and see love come around. And then it says, pass this card on. So you're supposed to give the card to somebody else, but I'm using it for reading. So, but this makes sense to me. You know, giving of yourself, giving of your time, bringing somebody into the fold, or just allowing them space in your life, giving, quite literally giving, being charitable, being of service, okay? And I think that in this, Spirit gives more love to our lives, or at least helps us change our perception a little bit so that we recognize things through the eyes of gratitude, and therefore we're experiencing more love all over the place. Okay? All right. Gemini, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor. I really, really do appreciate the time that you share with me. And I mean, that really is, in a big way, giving to me, but giving to, you know, I don't know, the greater collective consciousness that's kind of, I feel like, built in this channel. And I feel like that because I read the comments. I read all of the comments. And I really feel like when we all kind of focus on similar concepts, we have the same kind of, we're listening to something, we're thinking about, you know, how do we relate to this? What does this mean to me? It lifts kind of the frequency within a collective of people, even if we're doing it by ourselves and we never meet each other, we never talk to each other or whatever, there is still that connection. And so I really do appreciate that. And you know, I am so honored to be able to be a part of that with you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps us with the algorithm. You know, and the algorithm is important because it really does kind of affect what happens with the, you know, whatever, how YouTube recommends the video and stuff. So we, you know, any kind of engagement is really helpful. Liking the video, watching the readings from the beginning to the end, sharing them on other social media platforms. If you don't want to do these things, that's fine. I totally get it. But I like to bring them up just in case you want to support the channel in some way. And these are really, you know, some of the best ways to do that. Other than that, if you have not subscribed, please think about doing so. It really, you know, I want us all to be part of a dang community, okay? And if you do subscribe, you can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next videos are coming out. And here we go. If you want to leave a comment, please, please, please do. I read all of them. I read every single one. I swear it. I live for it. Not because I'm vain, but because I really love the energy, hearing your stories, hearing the things that, you know, are important to you. Some of you are like super generous to share some of, you know, your accomplishments, your, you know, anguish, grief. And that's really brave. And, you know, I love you for that, definitely. So if you want to leave a comment, please, please do. They're not just going into the void. Somebody is witnessing them. Okay, so Gemini, we will talk in a few days. And yeah, happy equinox. Spring, autumn, wherever you are, I love you, and we will talk soon.